English as a second language teaching philosophy. How you believe students acquire their second language will likely impact how you teach English as a second language to your learners. It is essential for an English teacher as a second language instructor to integrate students' life objectives into English as a second language (ESL) teaching philosophy. It is the tutor's accountability to help learners define how they want to study and how they desire to reach their objectives. Juveniles' ESL learning is more organized than that of grown-ups, therefore, necessitating the usage of multiple teaching methods to teach learners so that no one is left behind. I am certain that the classroom is a living society and that everybody must contribute to maintaining a positive atmosphere. The texts, therefore, discuss the teaching philosophy for a teacher that would like to teach ESL students and how they can apply it. I have usually regarded myself as a cultural border crosser of a certain sort since my childhood. Thus, I have cultured a great understanding of other folks and the environment around me due to my frankness to other beliefs. This has aided me in comprehending culture-specific conduct better and integrating it into my teaching plan. I feel that these are important assets for a language tutor because this cognizance motivated me to enter the profession of teaching English as a second language. In my personal philosophy of teaching an elementary student who does not speak another language and is American, I strongly believe that it is essential to be determinately aware of the philosophy behind what I teach. I base my teaching philosophy on societal constructivist and critical educational methods to language attainment. My teaching philosophy is comprised of three main beliefs. First, I prefer to apply task-based activities approaches as they give learners a chance to run through their second language in settings they may counter while using their second language. Second, emphasize the role as well as the significance of meaning-bearing and understandable input in the classroom, allowing learners to make connections with what they have learned in class. Lastly, I believe in classes where educators create an environment that stimulates real-life experiences and circumstances that enable English language beginners to negotiate to mean and figure out how to function in a state surrounded by English speakers. Examples of the more outstanding aspects of my coaching philosophy consist of the following four strategies. Developing the student's pre-existing knowledge. I strongly believe that every learner comes into the teaching space with previous knowledge such as linguistics that donates to the learning process. I would therefore effort to determine and feed this understanding from the beginning by surveying the learner's linguistic skills and individual experiences. Then I do inspire my learners to exploit their fortes and familiarities to advance their English skills. I have realized that most Latin American learners have a great degree of understanding of English grammar and many dearth of conversational eloquence. As a teacher, I prefer to center less on the linguistic aspect of English with these learners and concentrate on enhancing communicative capabilities. Inspire individual creativity during the learning process. I am convinced that creativeness is one of the most vital features in the framework of language learning. I lay emphasis on my learners the importance of creativity as a feature of writing and speaking. It is vital in writing as an aspect of rephrasing, developing, and relating ideas. Creativity is an essential concern in oral creation because even with a partial vocabulary, creative usage of language aid facilitates the learning of the second language. Besides, I prefer to design activities that center on using the novel words and grammar philosophies needed to construct their language skills to reach the communicative goal eventually. The learners would also be allowed to take some classes in their first language, translate to English, and quickly acquire the second language. Lay emphasis on a whole language method to teaching. I also believe in designing lesson plans aware of the entire language method of teaching by integrating verbal and written language abilities into activities that inspire social collaboration and are personally significant to the learners. An important activity that exemplifies this method is peer feedback of the classroom dissertations. To enhance English mastering as a second language, I frequently have my pupils participate in peer feedback, with a trivial variation of the undertaking every time. In groups and pairs, the students who do not speak another language learner read peer articles, provide a verbal and written responses, and discuss the course. From experience, the learners seem to appreciate and benefit immensely from this activity. Dual language and immersion approach. I also prefer to apply this approach because engagement classrooms offer a great advantage to learners because they aid them to become knowledgeable in another language. As an English second language teacher, I fancy using the DLI's involvement techniques to offer my students chances to practice English with natural speakers. This is because it enables them to read and understand English texts and cultivate oral and literacy abilities that will allow them to communicate contentedly with already fluent classmates. In summary, the main objective of teaching English as a second language is to make students learn English. However, there is much more involved in teaching ESL than drilling and cramming new vocabulary into students' minds. Through a multifaceted relation between my teaching values and the philosophies behind them, I endeavor to grow the full potential of my learners in the language learning setting. My instruction tactic in ESL is to direct my pupils through the procedure of English language socialization while majoring in the above discussed theories of teaching the second language.